Welcome to a special edition of Reporters Roundtable. We're coming to you this week from Washington, D.C. and the 72nd Annual New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce Walk to Washington. With us are 3 reporters and 1 honorary reporter. The 3 reporters are Kevin McCardel of Mellinium Radio News, Herb Jackson, Washington correspondent of the Bergen Record, and Claire Henninger of the Newark Star Ledger. And the honorary reporter is the governor of the great state of New Jersey, John Corzine. Thank you all for being here. The House of Representatives passed the federal stimulus bill on Wednesday on a party line vote. Leonard Lance voted against it. Rodney Frelinghuysen voted against it. Every Republican voted against it. Herb, you work down here. What's this say about the new era of bipartisanship, post-partisanship?
Well, there's a couple things that happened. One is that President Obama met with the Republican caucus the day before the vote, and essentially, we're told, said he would be looking to get changes in when the bill goes to conference, because the Senate has now taken up its own version of the bill, which will be different than the one the House passed, so that they're going to have to go to a conference committee, and at that point, the President sits in a room with Senate and House leaders and presumably brings in Republicans. But as I was talking to some of the senators down here, Senator Menendez is saying, the question becomes, how much do you give the Republicans do you still get what you want at the end? Some of the New Jersey Democrats, Bill Pascrell, who's on the Ways and Means Committee, talked about how they decided not to do some of the tax cuts for business that President Obama asked for, a $3,000 per job tax credit, because House Democrats don't believe that works, and that's the same thing we did under Bush, and it didn't work. That's
Claire,
what they say.
Claire, how does this look to you? Does it surprise you, this vote?
A little bit, given the effort that Herb talked about that the president made to go meet with Republicans and do that sort of outreach this week. But at the same time, I mean, the old patterns and old habits die hard. And I think, as Herb said, the Democrats were able to say, no, this hasn't worked for the last 8 years. These are some policies that the Bush administration tried and hadn't worked, and it's our turn. We won the election. We're going to do this.
Kevin, the president, even after the vote, invited the Republican leadership to a cocktail party at the White House. Maybe they're all just posturing for the moment. Maybe there will be Republican support for this. What's your sense?
Well, I don't know. There might be in the Senate, but as long as there are Ds and there are Rs, there will be disagreements. It's just the way it is. $819 billion is enough. That's a lot of money. There's a lot to go around there. And I think it's going to pass regardless. And if you don't really need the Rs, I think what the president is doing is pretty extraordinary. He doesn't really need them. He can get this through without them, but he's still reaching across, at least in the early stages, to try with that post-partisanship, that bipartisanship, and we haven't seen that in quite a long time. Whether it has any legs, I don't know, and whether it's even needed, I don't know, but at least it's posturing in a good way, I think.
But Governor, isn't this a big disappointment to Obama supporters who heard an inaugural speech a week ago and a ringing call for bipartisanship, and 1 week later, here we are in the same boat we've been in for years?
About 80% of the public supports and has high expectations with regard to the Obama administration, a lot of faith in the new president. I think that a bold economic plan, which the president has helped shape and work through both the House and the Senate, and will ultimately do what we heard described in conference committee, pull everybody together, I think is trying to lay the framework so that the public believes that there was a broad debate, broad participation in this process, and we're going to move. And hopefully it will be in a bipartisan basis, but it is absolutely necessary that we have an economic stimulus recovery program that's going to meet the needs of the nation. The nation wants it. And that's the most important participant, and I think the president is building that kind of support by showing an outreach to the Republicans, but he is clear he wants this done, and we want it done rapidly so that we can get our economy back on track.
Some people on the left are saying this is political suicide for the Republicans to oppose this. Herb, are there going to be Republican votes for this in the end? Is that what you were saying?
I would think there would be some, because at least in the Senate, that they will get some Senate Republican votes and maybe a few House Republican votes. But bear in mind, Michael, you know, Obama won the election, Democrats won solid control of both houses, but the Republicans who were in the House were also just elected. And they were elected promising not to do the things that President Obama is promising to do. And they see themselves as representing the voters who sent them there. So they're not necessarily sitting there saying they're committing suicide. They might think it's more suicidal to jump over to his side.